Another conspiracy theory. Okay, we'll call to order at 9 o'clock. Motion to adopt the agenda is presented. Councillor Olson, all in favor? Carried. Delegation. Seeing none. Public presentation. Seeing none. CAO, Mr. Norbert, you're up to bat.
Yeah, there's my report there, but there's a couple other things. We did get a quote from MPE for developing those 2 lots in residential. So I think we put in the budget to do the old school one because the other one's more expensive. So it was just to design the plan, but there's all kinds of other extra costs if we go ahead with that. But right now it's just for the design. We should be going to tender today for the Palliser and Pioneer Road construction and the bridge. I've had meetings on possible new businesses wanting to come to the town. And I went to the volunteer appreciation night the other night, which was fun.
Chocolate bars.
Yeah, I filled my pocket with chocolate bars at the end.
I wasn't gonna rat you out, Matthew. You didn't have to come leave on that one.
I have a question.
Councillor Murphy.
Was your report done through AI?
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of thought with all the highlighted,
yeah.
okay.
Well, I typed it up first and then I put it in to fix all my errors and my
Oh, nice,
grammar. Yeah,
Nice.
because I don't think you want to see my grammatical errors.
No. No, thank you.
Any questions of Matthew's report? Hearing none. Spring budget.
We're gonna let Winona bring this up.
I just did all the paperwork.
That's your job.
Delegation, that's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, go ahead.
I just was, I'm not sure, is somebody gonna read through until we get to the assessment levels? I'm just wondering about the increase in assessed values by $26 million and, you know, residential, I can understand that, was more likely due to new construction and home improvements, new purchase prices and that sort of thing. Non-residential assessment increase of $3 million. I was just wondering what this is based on, if it's just improvements on the companies or the non-residential properties, or what has changed to make such an increase by $3 million.
I think when I've talked to assessors in the past, they talk about, they look at a variety of different things, what things sell for, what kind of demand there is, if there's demand. They have like a whole table of things that they bring in to come up with their numbers. So it's never just one thing that they look at. So they're looking at demand, sales.
And so then that has an impact then on their taxes?
If their assessments.
Yeah, I realize that, but if they're just bringing in stuff that, I don't know, it just seems a little high as far, I guess if they were to sell it, but if they're not, and they weren't selling it, you know, more taxes based on someone's assumption of what stuff might sell for and everything else. I think it's a little $3 million.
It's also based on current market value to December 31st of last year. So they're working on last year's sales. And then they have their calculation that they put into the whole system. So at the last report that Matthew gave you, it showed you the percentage that everybody's assessment did go up.
Yeah.
And it was everyone's,
Yeah.
both residential
Yeah.
and commercial did go up.
Yeah, but if they're doing comparisons on areas where there typically is a lot of movement and higher market value than what we would actually have, is it being adjusted for the Hanna area
Oh,
and
yeah.
such?
Definitely, like they get all of our information, all our title changes, so they know exactly what property sells for and how,
Mhm.
and what people pay for their properties, so they work accordingly to that, and then according to their provincial adjustments too. So
Yeah.
there's lots of factors that go into how they come up with assessed values
Yeah,
on properties, and some years they go down. So it's,
exactly.
The residential doesn't surprise me at all.
Oh.
Our
No,
residential
no,
market
not
is
at all.
back up
Yeah.
to where it was pre-mine,
Yeah.
power plant, modifications.
Well, as much as $3 million seems, I mean, that's a big number. It's what, barely 4%.
Yeah.
Which makes sense as everything.
Yeah, divide by the
increases.
number, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering too, as far as JCC having a major increase, would that be due to their football field or not?
that I don't. They just,
Because
I
that would
think
be
it's
seen as
exponential.
as an improvement for their property, and the fact that it's exempt properties, then that's left for the taxpayers to foot the bill.
Well, our money doesn't go directly to JCC, it goes to the provincial body.
Yeah, I realize
Yeah.
that. Yes, I realize that, but if having an impact on the local taxes and such, yeah. That's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Matthew, did you want to go through this?
Yeah, I can do, so. You know, council approved the December 10th, the budget of December 10th, 2024 meeting. The budget anticipated municipal tax revenue generated in 2024 will be 2% or 86,000 higher than municipal tax revenue generated in 2023. So in 2025, we'll determine the balanced budget. Administration reviewed the budget context and information has been received since the December 10th meeting. Presents the following amendments for the budget and the tax rate bylaw revised for the budget. Part reflects a surplus of 36,000. So just mention all the assessments went up, the residential, the non-residential increased. So at the council meeting on December 10th, 2024, council provided direction to increase the municipal tax rate revenue received by 2%, so the 86,000. So administration is presenting the budget with a 5.5% decrease to the municipal portion of residential tax rate and a 4% decrease to the municipal portion of the non-residential tax rate. So the decreases are because our assessments went up so much. With assessments increasing, we don't need a higher tax rate to bring in that same revenue. So those are the proposals of 5.5% decrease to tax residential and 4 on non-residential. And there's a little chart that shows our historical tax rates and what revenue that will bring in. To say the tax rate receives foundation tax rates will be reduced from the 2024 tax rates. Even with less tax rates, residents will probably pay more in their property taxes because of their assessments. We to carry on to the next page or
$200,000, is that what we're increasing? You take the 4% and the 5.5%
Decreases on.
decreases off, that's what we'll still put in.
yeah, if we left the tax rates the same, we'd bring in an extra 200,000 above our budget. And we didn't change the tax rate. That's correct,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you don't touch the tax rate, we have a $200,000 surplus. Instead of 49 on non-residential, residential.
Do we want to discuss that at all? We've spent quite a bit of cash on some equipment. And we've got our infrastructure work on Pioneer and Palliser. this year that's coming out of our reserves? Do we want to leave that 200,000 in place?
Yes. I think we do. Because
Officer Olson?
Oh, sorry, no, I'm sorry, go ahead, carry on.
I just,
Yeah.
to me, every year, we lower it or we reduce it. But at the end of the day, we have aging equipment, we have aging buildings. The roads are falling apart. And we have a lot of new people moving here from all over the country. And to continue that trend in growth, we have to have everything we need to make this place viable. So shooting ourselves in the foot is not going to help. Next year might be completely different.
That's Olson.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing for 7 years now of we need to have more prepared, but I mean, now we planned on an extra $86,000 this year, and now that's already been reduced after reviewing the budget to 49,000 over last year's acceptable with the reduction as assessments go up. Yeah, I'm happy to reduce. The 5.5 just feels weird to have a 0.5% on there, whether it's just 5% for the residential. Leave it at that, and that still gets everything that's on the budget. That's our goal. Get everything we have. We just went through the financial statements. There's a decent ability. Of course, nobody wants to borrow, but there's a decent, surplus sitting there if we need to use any of that money for things that happen. And we're still putting money into each of those pots with the existing budget. So I'm happy to reduce it by the 5%. And as pointed out, with assessments going up significantly, it'll still generate more money and people will still have increased bills, which if we can keep them less reduced would be my goal. Or less increased.
There are other spreadsheets there that I provided showing what people's taxes will be with all the different decrease in assessed their tax rates.
But most of those increases will be, due to Acadia Foundation and, and.
Acadia went down this year a little bit, but the school did go up.
Yeah.
So regardless,
School would have
it will go up
Yeah,
because the school tax rate, but
Well, I blame my increase on my neighbors purchasing houses for too much money.
Yeah, you got two of those.
Yeah.
well, and all the exempt assessments as well too, so exempt properties. I'm in favor with Councillor Olson. Supporting that and
Council Cole, you're nodding your head, agree. Okay, Council Farrell?
I was looking at, not 5% decrease, but 3% decrease, I look at it, we gotta start looking at the future, it's, we are putting money away, but the whole thing is everything is aging and costs is going up. That's the whole thing. We gotta look at. We're looking at the municipal road. We talked about it for over 20 some years. Nothing's getting done. And, and we gotta do something, to start improving some of our stuff there, like we don't have no sewer and stuff. We gotta look at that. Maybe if we did have sewer out there and some of this expense, it'll attract more businesses out there. If you can't attract business, we're just not doing anything, so. Don't mind the decrease, but I think we gotta look, halfway.
Either or is not a significant number
No.
on,
Either way,
yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about those projects, I mean, that would require some grant or
Yeah.
something big like that at that time. Anyway.
that's the whole thing. The 2 and 3%, yeah.
But with a grant, we still have to have our share.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we could, anyways.
Does anybody else need an explanation on the spreadsheet? Numbers or just me? Oh, I guess I'm not. Okay.
If you will go up, it shows what the
Yeah.
changes, go up one
What
line.
changes, yeah.
So that's with no changes.
Yeah, it's carried if you scroll down, then it's adjusted for.
And then the next one is
5.5.
reduced.
And what's
So
the
what is
difference
it?
between the black and the red?
The red is just the municipal,
Oh, gotcha.
and the red or the black is what the total tax rate would be, what your total increase would be. And of that money, the amount in red would be the town's portion.
Okay,
The other would be school.
so from 2024 with no changes. With the EU. 5.5% reduction, okay.
So obviously we can't make any decisions here today, but this is some food for thought.
So with the surplus, would you want to put money back into the water reserve? Because we decided not to do the 50,000 this year because you're doing the pump maintenance. So there would be, if you wanted to put 25 back into that, we could do that, reducing your surplus or leaving it at the amount that comes out after your decision.
If I would propose the idea of splitting the difference of the two discussions we've had, and do that reduced by 4%. And do exactly that, that would make it must be about $55,000 to $60,000 surplus.
4 and 2,
Yeah, the 4% residential. Uh,
and 2 on the non.
2 on the non.
I could live with that.
Yeah, I could do that too.
All right, all right.
I feel happy saying that.
And I'm just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just
Worried.
worried, I mean, everything's going up.
Nice, yeah.
And we've had MP in here and they've discussed with us, basically, we're not increasing 3% a year, we're going backwards. And we've got another employee this year. We're looking at probably another half an employee to add on again this year. So I mean, right there's $100,000.
So where's the additional employee?
Well, we just hired another parks person.
Was I supposed to know that?
You approved it, yeah.
It's in the budget.
Yeah.
It's already.
Well, I didn't know that one was hired already.
Yeah. And the half would be Chelsea.
Mhm.
And then Brent just informed us yesterday that the beacon at the airport needed to be replaced because we can't purchase light bulbs. They're outdated. So he said that would be an $8,000 purchase that has to be done.
see, the little things. they
So
just
there's
don't-
another thing, and that was yesterday, so
That was
it's not in the
yesterday.
budget.
No,
And Lori wants to improve the sound and video and audio system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another 8 or 10 grand.
If you
And we
continue
always
to
have legal
live
bills.
stream.
Yeah, and then the legal bills.
The other thing,
232,000.
this building doesn't have eavesdrops, you gotta do stuff.
Oh, at the front. Oh, it's crazy.
No, because
It's
when you're
terrible.
more, you got more
the
water.
ice too.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a liability one of these
Yeah.
days, somebody's gonna sue.
I've biffed it. I just
Yeah,
happened
you
to
can.
hold
But
I
the
think-
post.
yeah, but ultimately, just like I said, we can't make any decisions
No.
today. You've got the information. We've got a suggestion of 4 and 2. Put it in your hat, think about it, look it over and come back to council on.
No,
No,
no, I need direction today so I
Yeah.
can bring everything back for approval at the May
The
meeting.
main meeting.
The tax rate
4
needs
and
to be
2?
set at May.
Yeah.
meeting.
Everybody good.
Everybody good with 4 and 2? Okay.
And
There
the
you go.
other reason for that too is we're understanding that there may be a mail strike
Yeah. I think-
coming up.
What?
Yeah, another mail strike,
Another-
No, I don't want another mail.
So
yeah.
if we can get tax notices out in May instead of June this year,
Yeah.
that would alleviate some concerns with the ratepayers too.
Yeah.
So that was the other thought.
Yeah.
No, I need
Yeah,
your direction
you
today.
have to
Yeah.
decide it, don't you?
well, and it has to be done by.
Okay, so 4 and 2 is the consensus? Okay. And we will approve that at the next, sorry.
Okay, and you want 25 put back into water
Water.
and the rest would just be surplus?
For the audio equipment and the light thing you need at the airport or whatever.
I won't be enough to do
The
that.
beacon.
That we know of so far.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Nope, that's.
No, you need to bark if we're up, yeah.
I had a notice yesterday from TV, with the mail strike coming.
Another one.
Yeah.
Matthew, I don't know if you wanna continue explaining some of the adjustments that we did since December,
What page are we on now? Oh, yeah,
your explanation.
I'll leave your head out.
is there any questions? Like we got the rent increase, no Japanese student exchange program. I don't know, when's the last time you guys did that? It's been a while.
Yeah.
And
2 year, 3 year, I don't know, it's.
Five?
It was pre-COVID. COVID was 5 years ago already.
I thought we did it just the year before COVID. I can't remember who's there's.
2018,
Kids went over.
2019, maybe.
Angie's
I
daughter.
say Abigail probably would have been the last Abigail.
Yeah, I
and
think
Kaylee Richardson.
that's quite well.
So, it's always there, it's just, if it
Yeah.
doesn't come back.
Yeah, just roll it around and, yeah. What's going on with your Veterans Memorial, Fred? Are they still active or are they?
Oh, yeah, actually, they've become a whole lot more.
Yeah, cause they were petering out for a while and then it kind of looked like they gained some momentum and then I hadn't heard much, so.
They're doing trade shows and
Good.
quite a few things actually, and they're collaborating with, East, Central Alberta tourism sort of.
Okay.
They've got their own little group that's doing that. And, yeah, it's.
They're twinning the highway, are they not? Isn't that part of they're not gonna do that?
Just more pullouts.
It's more pullouts. That works
The
too.
only improvement that's gonna happen, as far as I know, is the overpass at Highway 136.
Good. Oh,
That would
that's
be nice, yeah.
pray to Jesus every time I have to go through there.
And then they push the service road into the east ramp.
Water
Yeah.
close there, yeah.
so under capital, we pulled that Nickelback stuff, the sign, so we can get the ground. Other big things like the forklift came in well under budget, so that reduced it by 53,000. So
So for the, what we call the old school property, we've had serious conversations. I mean, it's weird to spend engineering money on property we don't own.
yeah, we've had a chat, several chats with the school, so they said they don't think there'd be any problem. There's a lot of processes and steps they have to go through to do that, but I think they could either sell it to us, like $1 or.
Yeah, because it's not even a prairie land property, it's a provincial property,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so they would have to go through all these steps, but they think they could do
Okay.
like a cheap deal on it, but they want lots from that. Right, they
They want
want,
trade.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So lots that would.
They want developed lots.
yeah,
If this could build theirs, just like all rural
yeah,
schools.
yeah, so, and that's their goal, right, so it's a trade.
And so would you leave the playground?
Yeah, they want the playground, and we might have to move that where the bus stops, just adjust its location.
Further down towards
Yeah,
the
but it would
playground.
still be there, but, yeah,
It's just a nice little area.
yeah,
It's nice.
we wouldn't bulldoze
Mhm.
we're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's great, yeah. Well, there's lots of
Joining the
curb
family.
that you can park on.
Yeah.
And pardon my ignorance, what are the other two lots, residential lots that we're talking about?
The other one that they said they could do a plan for is the ACO lands by the, yeah, so it's just those two.
Okay.
But that's significantly bigger,
Yeah,
but we also have
more expensive.
a business that might be interested in going over there as well.
The other thing worth noting is, we're due for a big document for Palliser to put the time in, so whether we want an ASP for something, like an area structure plan, or what document we'd want. We can throw something at them for this year, I believe, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Can you expand on that potential, business looking at? But it would be, industrial,
The light industry.
which, you know, would seem to be maybe a concern if that other is an opportunity for residential, like the large residential development.
Yeah.
And the view sort of thing, then where else would be the next site? Is there not property or room on the property that, Public Works is on for industrial? There was talk about that, I think last term, that they might subdivide some of that for
I think they
development.
need roughly 3 acres of land, so we'd have to see if that's enough space.
And so how much space is at Public Works right now?
I'm not sure.
That would be 15 or 18.
There's a lot of,
Space.
land there that is not
Yeah.
usable and it's highway access. You know, would that not be more productive
I can
than
look into it,
having
but
it
there's some other requirements that they need beyond.
power?
Yeah.
But is there not power that could be tapped in from Public Works?
Within the town is all different levels of power.
Plus, it's access that we gotta have.
Well, it's just a concern if you're right across from residential and a future residential development.
Yeah.
That is easy access for residents.
I think it would leave a lot of land over there and it's not. Like if you go into bigger cities, they have light industrial really close to residential.
It would have to come back for zoning
Yeah,
anyways, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I realize that, but just as
But
far
if
as,
there's,
if there's
if
other
the other land
opportunities,
meets the requirements, then yeah, that could be an option as well.
it just makes more sense to me, just on the
Yeah.
surface. Thank you.
Roundtable discussion, Councilor Kroll, anything new and exciting? How's your loop? Oh, Councilor.
If you're done with budget, you want to make.
Yes, sorry, I had that, I had that here and then I scrolled down, I apologize.
Council report, so I assume.
Council accept the information for the 2025 spring budget and tax options report as dated April 30th, 2025. Do we need to put our Form 2 in there, Nomi, in any way?
I can, yeah.
Okay. Bring to the amendment to 25, the operating for May 13th, the regular council meeting. Motion, Council Murphy, all in favor? Carried. I had it sitting here, nobody, I did. Hey, Council Crowe, your loop's picking up,
Yeah, we're doing good.
spring's happening.
But the only thing now is the weather's gonna be so nice, maybe people will walk.
Okay,
That's the only concern that we have.
Heat is unbearable, so chances are you may have a month of slowdown, and then it's gonna be so hot, people will wanna take it anyways. Yeah.
Council Bowden, anything around table?
Nope.
Council Olson, golf course is rocking.
And nine holes is open, should be 18 very soon.
Yeah, Kevin for this weekend possibly.
Yeah,
Other than the cold wind.
yeah.
Perfect. Council Murphy?
Just recovering from a lung infection, so it's been fun. On a personal note, which will irritate some of those people on the internet. Sold my first house and have my first listing. Yes.
Thurl?
Thank you, thank you.
That relates to council.
Council Thurl?
Oh, we got our Mother's Day breakfast coming up on May 10th, at the community center. Starts at 8:30 and it's by donation, and I just passed on the information for May 24th. Hanna Ag Society and the Hanna RCMP are working together for a bike safety program at the Lutheran Church. It starts at 1 o'clock and everybody's welcome. We even had some parents ask if they could participate. I said, I'd like to see some adults.
There was one up in my neighborhood yesterday.
Yeah.
It should have been in a safety course.
You sent that to everybody?
I just got it. We're putting up posters all around town and stopping at the library with some information and everything. So,
The scooters are the ones that need.
yeah, the scooter guys.
Oh, gosh, right down the
There's
middle
a
of the
certain
road.
blue one.
Yeah.
Certain blue one, yeah.
I just did the volunteer appreciation, gala, they called it.
Good.
And it was funny as I'm trying to write a speech for it. it's, you just to take a step back and realize all the different people that volunteer. And how many volunteers we have and how many things function based on volunteers is absolutely astonishing. Like when you sit down and you start penciling it all out and there's stuff that you don't realize, and then all of a sudden you see someone and go, oh yeah, he's involved with this, and oh yeah, she does that. And yeah, it amazes me every year. The amount of volunteerism that goes on in this community. And if you see somebody, just give them a thanks, because without them, our budget would be triple. So yeah, it was really well put together. They did a good thing. Like I said, I started out with a big long speech and I tore it up because I couldn't begin to cover all the different people that volunteer and all the things that get done for us in the community. So a big shout out to everybody there. Other than that, just kind of go. Just when we adjourn, I got one little bit. Actually, Dean Rogas passed away yesterday. He bought the lots up in Fielding Place, so I'm not sure where that'll leave us with that at this time.
Yep.
Dark live stream.
Yes, I realize that.
I'm so sorry.
Okay,
That was nice. I'm not sure it's part of the knowledge.
so we will adjourn at 9:33.